Welcome back to Kast. This is your host, Good Luck Chuck. We back at it again with another episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share all your social media platforms. We are on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the NFL finally decided that the game is staying in Tampa Bay. Sunday night football on NBC. Before we get into all that, I'd like to introduce the panel here. Country running a little late. He'll be in the show at some point. My guy Boogie's at the bottom of the screen. The special guest, my guy, he calls himself the Ship. You can catch him on Sports Radio 18 WHB. He's been covering the Chiefs for a very long time, an OG in the game. So I'd like to welcome Darren Smith to this episode of Kingdom Cast. How you doing, man?
Gentlemen, thank you so very much. I am doing good. Look, it's been far too long. I should have been on the Kingdom Cast a long time ago with someone who covered the Chiefs. I feel slightly disrespected to have been taking this long to be on the show, but I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. See, that's how funny it is.
I'll take responsibility for that, man. So,
oh, good.
So yeah, man. Yeah, definitely great to have you on. Man, I know you was at the presser today. I know Amy on the Spagnolo, Travis Kelce, a few others on
well,
there.
Kelsey didn't talk. He's
I want to get to
us
nitty
tomorrow.
gritty. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. All right, but I want to get to Eric Bieniemy because in the subject, he took an L in Indianapolis. The whole argument with him and Patrick Mahomes right before halftime, and as a result, it was another second half lull that resulted in a loss. So I know you was at the presser today. What was your main takeaways from what Eric Bieniemy was saying during the press conference?
One, in my opinion, he's gotten very good at these pressers. Over the years, when he first started out just a running back coach, and then when he got promoted in 2018 to the OC, getting used to. Look, I always said that these pressers to me are kind of like a job interview. So I think if he does well on that, he does well in the interview. So first and foremost, he knew some of the topics that was going to be discussed, especially the sideline deal with Patrick before halftime, and then of course the play calling and how the game turned out. So not only was he ready for it, I thought he hit it out the ballpark. And to be honest, I mean, it really, when you stop and look at it and you hear what Andy said, not only after the game but Patrick as well, and then what they said on Monday and then Wednesday and then today, everything is consistent. It's not a matter of whether or not they got to get their stories aligned or anything like that. It's literally what happened. I mean, if you remember the footage that CBS was showing, Eric Bieniemy telling Patrick, "We okay, we're all right, we're all right." It wasn't like he was going back and arguing with him, so to speak. I know Patrick was, I think the biggest thing that if anything Patrick could take away would be the gestures where it made it seem like that they were going at it with each other. Where Eric is like, "We're okay, we get the ball back in the second half. We're good," and so. Obviously, we didn't hear that, but if you read the lips, and that's what they were saying, Andy and everybody else said the same thing as it relates to coming out of that game immediately in the aftermath. And then Patrick said on another station on Monday or Tuesday that's what happened, and that he wishes he would have handled it a little bit differently. So, all in all, I think that particular situation was much ado about nothing in the bigger scheme of things. Of course, people. There's a former running back that's out here on television now that his butt's been hurt. I guess ever since he got benched with the Chiefs, and because he couldn't stop fumbling the football, like he was fumbling the bag and getting stuff stolen by women and stuff like that. So that being the case, I asked Bieniemy, about that, obviously, what you're hearing on social media, and then what's true and what's reality. You've got one player who seems to have an issue with Bieniemy, but everybody else that's played for him, Jamal Charles, Tyreek Hill, Jeff Allen, everybody says going things about him. So, when people don't like you, they will, like if fans or Chiefs Kingdom don't like Airbnb, the only person they can fall back to is Mr. Fumble himself, on FS1. They don't, so forget what, we'll take the word of somebody who was here only for a few months versus players who played for him for a number of years that can, that can speak to what Bieniemy does. And so to me, that's more telling about the fans or the people themselves versus Eric Bieniemy, the man and the character of EB. And so, and I asked him today, whether or not Patrick Mahomes, can be coach tough. I mean, I don't think it's a secret that when he was in college, he wasn't coached hard. And, but, for me, if he can coach Adrian Peterson, who was an MVP, and tell Adrian Peterson to his face, your fumbling is going to be the reason why we don't advance to the playoffs or get the Super Bowl. I mean, he said that to the MVP. I mean, and he's got the credibility to do so because he's played in the league for 11 years, I believe it was. He played in the Super Bowl with the Chargers. He has every right to talk to Patrick in the manner in which he does. And Patrick, again, Patrick's still an employee, to a subordinate, so to speak, to Eric Bieniemy. That's a different kind of employee because he's a highly paid one. But I think at the end of the day, for me personally, when I posted and I said what I said, I don't regret it. I had to check one of my colleagues at the station. Like, hey, you got your own opinion. What I'm saying? If you don't like it, you can stay off my page. But at the end of the day, I didn't like it because to me, I don't like the vision or the optics of two black men arguing in the manner in which the gestures and stuff was that Patrick was displaying on national television. Because at the end of the day, people worship the ground Mahomes walk on. Like Mahomes could literally go crap in the middle at the 50-yard line on Area Stadium, and folks will run out the stands, try to scoop it up, bronze it, and sell it on eBay. That's just how fickle Chiefs Kingdom is. And so, and to that point, you know, I don't have a problem. Well, my thing is I want people to be consistent because if we want to talk about Tom Brady breaking Microsoft tablets and surfaces and arguing with players and coaches on the sideline, you know, don't sit there and try to, go after him, but it's okay for Patrick just because you don't like Eric Bieniemy. And at the end of the day, I think people try to reference back to the AFC Championship game. Shit, they lost. I mean, whatever the case may be, I don't care. They had an 18-point lead, and as I tell people, Patrick Mahomes is the starting quarterback. If his feelings get hurt about whatever was said in the locker room, and you come back out and you give up 18 points and you lose the game because your feelings got hurt, maybe this ain't for you. So that was my takeaway.
You hit on all points, man. I agree pretty much everything you said. And like, what's crazy? There was an argument on the sideline with the Jets. Quinn Williams, the defense with the coach, sideline, and that's getting put on the rug for whatever reason. But this whole Airbnb thing, it's been a
Well,
big
it's
deal
not
for a
juicy.
little bit now. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's juicy. I mean, obviously nobody.
Yeah,
I don't even know
apparently.
who it is that you're talking about, and it doesn't even know who the coach is that he was arguing with. So yeah, it's it is what it is.
Yeah, it's like they want to blow that enemy stuff up a little bit also because he didn't get a job. So it's like, see, this the reason he didn't get that job anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and looking at the end of the day, you know, people are afraid to talk about it. I'm not because I'm black and I'm gonna stay this way until till my maker comes and gets me. But to me, a lot of people's racism will show, but they want to use it as an excuse, or they try to cover that to say, oh no, he just can't call plays. Well, again, as I've said. He's been a play caller since 2018, so he called the plays in the first AFC Championship game where they lost to Brady in overtime. He was a play caller in the Super Bowl. And what's interesting, they want to give everybody else credit in the Super Bowl stuff for Eric Bieniemy. Where Patrick Mahomes suggested the play. He didn't call it, but he suggested the play. Because they were going to call that play, they just didn't know where within the game they were going to call it. Patrick made the suggestion. Cool, it went for it. But let's not make it seem like Patrick didn't put the team in the situation. He had two interceptions, leading up to that time. So there was, so the play calling was on point. So yeah, and then, yeah, again, if the Chiefs won, because again, as I mentioned before, the show with you, Chuck, nobody had an issue with the play calling in game number one. And if I remember correctly, they didn't have issues for real with the play calling game number two because the team won. So why is it all of a sudden? So all of a sudden now, you didn't want to give the enemy credit for the first two games. But game number 3, just because they were, having a discussion, so to speak, at halftime, now Eric Bieniemy can't call plays. He don't know what he's doing. So again, I don't put too much stock into it, and so I don't have a problem going back and forth with Chiefs Kingdom because at the end of the day, they try to say we protect Eric Bieniemy because he's black. Well, okay, so what? I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying, but you all protect Andy Reid because he's white. So what?
We've never heard somebody say Eric Bieniemy coached a good game.
Yeah. And you never will, except if you hear from me.
Never.
So.
But yeah, and this goes back to when Andy Reid was coaching in Philly. This is Down McNabb. Like when the Eagles were winning, you give Andy Reid the credit, but Dalvin McNabb was getting the every time. It's like Dalvin McNabb had to with twos, okay, wide receiver threes, and the only thing he had weapons for was like running backs until they finally got T.O. But like
True.
McNabb got you to like multiple NFC Championship games, got you a Super Bowl appearance, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, now that's true. Now, Chuck. Now, look, I love you, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. You gotta get that Wi-Fi straight over there because you cutting in and out for it to where I'm getting every other word. So I'm trying to piece the stuff together. So I don't know if it's AOL dial up, but come on, man. I'm working with you, baby. Come on now. But no. But you're right. I mean, even during that time, Andy Reid's supposed to be this guru. And granted, the game had evolved obviously, but they didn't get over the hump until they had T.O. Now, flip side is, T.O. had the broken leg, so getting to the Super Bowl, they did that without T.O. But they wouldn't even have been in the game in the Super Bowl without T.O. being there. And I think T.O. played a huge part, but he gave them that spark that allowed them to get to where they were and to get to the Super Bowl. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Chuck.
Yeah, you gone, Chuck. Chuck, you out of there. Yeah. But besides play calling, I see they talking about special teams. They thought was a reason. What you think about those comments?
Well, being into that, I mean, you got a chance. We got a chance to talk to him. I'll say this like I said on Fox 4. I think the domino effect, or with Lemony Snicket's a series of unfortunate events. I think that the fact that they had problems muffing the punt and what it led to, I think that was like, again, a series of things rolling downhill and just it started with that and it just didn't end. And so I thought, trust me, I never imagined that was going to be the case when, when they punted the ball off. I'm thinking he's going to either down it or he's going to return it. But the muff punt stuff and fumble and them recovering it to get, to get a touchdown 3 plays later, I didn't see that happening at all.
Cool.
All right, Chuck, we hear you. We hear you now.
All right, good.
We hear you. We see you. Okay. Video looking good, my man. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, man. I'll switch over to the phone. So let's go and get to it, man. Let's go and get to the matchup on Sunday. Got the Bucks. Bucks, they've been playing lights out on defense so far this season. Offense, they got a bunch of injuries going on. They haven't really been clicking on all cylinders. I think Khalil's supposed to be coming back, and then Godwin, he's questionable. I'm not sure he's gonna come back or not. So I mean, what are some keys for you in this matchup?
Got to stop the running game first and foremost. They've been heavy on the run and Leonard Fournette, and so Even talking to Justin Reed in the locker room today for our pregame show Sunday, he knows that's going to be very important for them to make sure that they stop the run. Obviously, I don't know if Julio is going to be back in time. I know they do get Mike Evans back from his 1 game suspension. I don't know if Chris Godwin it will be playing this game, but if Brady does have his weapons, it's going to be imperative on the Chiefs to get after him. Of course, he's a quarterback that doesn't like to get hit, so he's going to be trying to get rid of the ball as quickly as humanly possible. So that being the case, it's going to be a matter of Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes making sure that they're gelling and that they he gets the ball out, but not only does he get the ball out, he gets the ball out accurate. He's been having problems connecting with the Marquez Valdez Scanlon, and of course he didn't practice today, so I'm not sure whether or not he's going to be playing in Sunday's game, which would allow Justin Watson and Sky Moore to perhaps get more snaps. And I'd like to hopefully see a healthy McCall Hardman perform and play as well.
Yep. It's a country. Welcome to the show, man.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's up, coach?
What's up? What's up?
Yes, more Scott Moore snaps at receiver.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you about that. Like, because I said before the season, I think Sky Moore is going to be more so on the back end of the schedule. I mean, am I pretty accurate with that at this point? Like, is this?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because again, you got to remember he's a rookie. I mean, you're not going to just toss him in over 2 veterans that you sign. I mean, so unless injury could take Juju or MVS out. But here's the thing, Andy Reid, when it comes to the offense, he puts all the players in. But again, it's going to be up to the players to make sure A, that you're open, and B, if Patrick gives you the ball, that you got to make the play. I mean, we could talk about what we expect of them. I mean, you look at some of the players who balled out as rookies, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Could Sky Moore be that? I mean, he has to make the most of the opportunities when the opportunity presents itself. Because at the end of the day, we can try to praise him all day long and what we expect and expectations, but when he gets on the field, if he's muffin punts, and I think that's just a one off, but it was still there as on film, versus when he's on the field on offense, and if he's not catching the balls or extending the chains or extending the plays, I mean, the questions have to be asked. So, I mean, this is a tough business. I like to see these players succeed. If they succeed, I think the team succeeds. The team succeeds. I feel like I succeed because I like going to Super Bowls. I like covering Super Bowls, and I mean, and to be quite honest, I mean, the worst this team has done over the last 4 years is the AFC Championship game. So, it's been at home, so I haven't had to leave during the playoffs yet over the last 4 years. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, we kind of spoiled around here. We kind of spoiled these past few years.
Facts.
Yeah.
Could we have at least had one more Lombardi in the trophy case right now? But
And I'll be honest. If the Kareem Hunt's on his team, we have at least 3. That's just my opinion.
I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that because this is a great segue. It's a great segue because I do want to ask you about the running game. We kind of talked about it a little bit before the show. I just feel like we're running too many running plays out of the gun, man. I feel like a lot of the plays out of the gun are not effective. Like they're too slow developing. I mean, do you see different, or do you feel like there's something need to be tweaked in the run game for this offense to be a little more effective?
No, I would agree. I'm kind of I'm kind of with you on that. I think that I used to have a problem with them throwing on first and second down. They would always say that their passing game is an extension of their run game. Now, to an extent, obviously, when you had Tyreek and then you had the separation stuff and obviously Kelsey, I tend to agree with that. My issue is that you're not utilizing Juju and MVS enough on those short passes to try to get 5 to 7 yards and make it second and third to where you can probably utilize Clyde. Because for me, when it's 1st and 10, the last person I'm trying to hand the ball off to, unless it's a big hole, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just because I mean, at the end of the day, size is, he is the size that he is. Now, if you put Pacheco back there again, he's only a rookie. He's only 3 games in. Maybe perhaps by the end of the season, either he, Gore, if he ever gets healthy, or McKinnon. I think that they can move. They can move the line just like they can, just like anybody else. But Clyde, he has to do his damage for me. If the hole is wide open and he sees it where it's not having to be pointed out, or if he gets the ball on the outside to where he's got the edge and is able to extend the plays like that. But on a 1st and 10, I don't have a problem with them running the football as long as it's not Clyde.
Yeah. Do you feel like Clyde needs to be involved a little more in the passing game? Because I feel like that's where he's been most effective at so far this year.
Well, he is, but the difference is that if you're only going to utilize them for pass catching, then you kind of show your hand. It's kind of a tell because they know that you're not going to run the ball because he's not. You don't feel like he can body that line, and so you kind of allow the defense to get set and ready for a pass versus running the football. Now, if you got Pacheco back there and you got Clyde lined up, then perhaps you can do something, but I mean, I'd rather him be in the backfield, and then if Patrick's options aren't available, and there's something open up on the side or in the flats that he can come around and because he's so short, kind of get in the middle of the field, catch the ball, and maybe get a few extra yards out of that to where you can extend the play. But no, I don't have a problem with him being in the passing game, but it's a matter of where you line him up at without tipping your hand.
Yeah. Okay, got a question from Carlos here saying, do you think Rojo could be active and it provides like short yardage and goal line carries?
Well, Rojo has to be healthy. I mean, he's been out the last few days sick. I'm not sure as to I guess they don't want to carry four or five running backs on game day, so that's a matter of him being healthy. Because right now he hasn't practiced all week, so you're probably not going to be playing the Sunday's game either. Even though you would think he would want to, he'd be healthy enough to play against a former team that he won a Super Bowl with, but who knows?
So getting there, country, you just arrived, man. So what's got on your mind, bro?
Nothing, same old. Ready to beat Tom Brady again. We need it. We need a victory so everybody can calm down. Everybody kind of went off the rails with this EB Pat situation. The Indy loss. I just chalk it up to his Indy, and we always play like that in Indianapolis. It never fails. It happens. And a lot of stuff had to go wrong for them to pull out that little small victory that they got. I'm not taking nothing from them. They won the game fair and square, but a lot of bad stuff had to happen for them to win that game like that. So just don't panic. It's 3 weeks in. We still got a lot of time, man. We got 14 more games to go. So I wouldn't panic just yet. I think people was pushing the panic button a little too early. And if you had the Chiefs at 11 wins anyway, they had to lose eventually, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you had them with 6 losses or 5 losses, they had to lose one anyway. I'd rather get it out the way now than lose later on when I need it.
I don't want to interrupt here, but scary situation just happening in this Miami-Cincinnati game. Tua is down on the ground. He's not getting up for real. They brought the stretcher out. So, yeah, prayers up to Tua Tagovailoa right now.
Yeah, he felt hella awkward.
Oh, man. Well.
Uh-oh.
Well, one, I mean, the league and the Dolphins got to answer that because he probably never should have been back in the game last week against the Bills when, he said they felt he had a concussion. He said it was his back. And now, like you said, he was sacked for a 10-yard loss. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on this one now.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because you remember when we played the Browns not so long ago in the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes got knocked out. He got up all woozy and he couldn't come back in the game. But like you mentioned last week, Tua, he looked worse than what Patrick. He looked like he was in a worse condition than what Patrick was in, and he got cleared. So like, is the league like picking and choosing in regards to this concussion protocol stuff?
No, he said. Well, again, I never saw the play, so I'm not even sure what it looked like, what happened. But yeah, I'll take it forward, and I'm waiting for the Get him to come back up. Oh well, yeah. You got the stretcher out
This
there.
shit ain't moving.
His
Damn,
fingers
like,
were
His hands,
laying
he lost.
con-
His hands ain't moving.
okay, well, okay. I don't want the description now. That's
Did he get hit? Was it a headshot?
I don't know, but
Oh,
but yeah. So well, I think all I know is that the NFLPA, they're doing their investigation. I think someone's going to be held responsible for it because you can't just say that he passed protocol. And again, I don't know whether or not he fell, or I don't know what happened on his play because obviously we're in the middle of the show. But
yeah.
but we'll just say prayers up to him and get back to what we were discussing.
Yeah. So here, all right. So like from what I saw with the Buccaneers so far, of course I mentioned about how their defense has been lights out. I think Devin White and Levante David, they the best linebacker duo in the league still.
Defensive player of the month, right?
Well, I didn't see all that. So if that's the case, then hey, it is what it is, man. Devin White, he's still one of the best in the game.
It's going to be a good challenge for the Chiefs and their offense, especially their offensive line.
So yeah, but you've been hearing them talk. You heard them talk in the past about how the Chiefs they finesse. They don't like to get physical. Then you heard Shaq Barrett this week saying that the Chiefs' offensive line is the same to him. Like there ain't much change for real. So I mean, what do you think about those comments between those two cats, man? Is there some truth to that?
I'm sorry, no, not at all. I think Look, I will say this: if Orlando Brown plays like he played last week, then yeah, it might be some truth to that. At least on the left tackle side, I don't think he did himself any services when it comes to his contract situation. But no, I think the Chiefs have a much better offensive line. You got Joe Thuney. You brought in. You drafted Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, and of course Andrew Wiley was there during the Super Bowl. So I really think that this is a much better offensive line than what Kansas City had when they faced them. Look, I was hoping that these teams were going to match up last year in the Super Bowl because I would have liked to have seen both teams healthy, line up and see make it do what it do. So no, I just think it's just talk. I mean, you're talking to Creed Humphrey today. He said that's not even something that they even discuss. So it is what it is.
That was a stupid statement he made. It was dumb.
I mean, it was dumb. I mean, well, I won't say it was dumb, but I mean,
how many people in that offensive line he faced in the Super Bowl are even still on the team?
I think just Wiley. So,
right, it was just a stupid statement. But I mean,
at least on the
bulletin board material. If you want to give it to us, give it to us. But it gave me the Jacksonville vibes when Telvin Smith was. What do you think about the Chiefs' offense? And it was funny. He was laughing. He was giggling. And then Kansas City put 40 on him. And when the last time you seen Telvin Smith? Didn't he retire or something like that? What happened to him?
I'm not sure.
I think he was forced to
exactly.
He was forced to retire. He was forced to retire. He had some off the field stuff going on. That was pretty serious.
Yeah, and then Travis got in his head and he got kicked out of the game, and then everything wasn't so funny. And we never found out what was funny. You know what I'm saying? So talking this much ahead of the game with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, we already compared him to Michael Jordan with his pettiness. Oh, he's gonna be on petty. He's petty. He's gonna be petty. It's already was gonna be petty. Sunday Night Football, everybody's watching. We the prime time, we the game. So he already was on a petty level, and we coming off a loss. Why would you add logs to that fire? Stupid.
I got them Steeler vibes when they was talking about how soft Fisher was and how they was just a more physical team. Offensive line not playing good right now. I'm worried, man, about that O line going against this D line.
Okay, but what have we seen Pat do against number one defenses? It usually works in his favor.
It didn't against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but I mean, we saying a healthy O-line. This O-line is definitely better than that O-line they tried it to the Super Bowl, right?
Yep, but this O-line is not playing up to expectations going off last week.
But are we comparing them to the one that lined up in the Super Bowl? And even with the bad performance they had last week, they still head and shoulders above that line.
If the Chiefs O-line play like they did last week, Chiefs will not win this game.
If the Chiefs O-line play like they played last week, they still better than the one that we lined up in the Super Bowl. It's still better.
They won't win this game if they O-line is like last week.
I think both things can be true, but at the same time,
they definitely can be true. Because the team we lined up in the Super Bowl was backup left tackles, backup right tackles. The guards were trash. Okay, they playing bad. Okay, they had a bad game. Cool. But why would you still give them that motivation and say this is the same team we faced in the Super Bowl? It's not.
They think the Chiefs is sweet.
Okay, we'll show them Sunday then. Period, point blank. End of story. Thanks for coming. Thank you for coming, Darren. We have a nice night. The podcast is over. We just gonna see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why they put it out like that. I wouldn't do that. If I'm the coach, I would be like, why did you say that?
Well, the good thing about the defense is that you get a chance to go out there and back it up. The thing is, he can say it, and, he feel like he got the dogs to go out there, you know what I'm saying, and back up his bark. So, at the end of the day, I don't have a problem saying it because, if you can back it up, so be it. So, the only way you're going to do it is, like you said, strap up those chin straps and go out and hit somebody. Because the good thing is that for him, he's on defense. He gets to go out there and hit somebody. This is the offense, of course. You try to avoid getting hit. So, I don't have a problem with it. But then again, I like to talk trash too. So I don't have a problem with it. And to be honest, the players, it's not something, when you talking to Humphreys and some of these other players, it is what it is. They don't care.
They were already motivated for the game. It's already.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. So yeah, I'm saying so. It's but that's not going to add a little extra for get you any more motivated. If you're not motivated to play, then no. And T. Higgins just caught a touchdown pass from Joe Burrow. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
they better win tonight. That's all I know because
they'll win.
Boogie, your boy, was already on Twitter talking crazy. So Cincinnati better win today.
Yeah,
or it's going to be ugly. But
speaking
Tampa Bay, their offense is not scary at all. They down receivers. Mike Evans coming back, right though?
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
So that's a good challenge. That's a good challenge. I think Snead is playing at a high level. I think Watson is playing at a high level. I think our secondary should be in good shape. That D-line's going to have to get some push. Chris Jones should be motivated this week. I think Travis Kelce should be motivated by his performance last week. I think everybody should be motivated by their performance on Sunday.
Hey, Chris Jones.
And I feel like if we bring our best, we can beat Tampa. Huh?
Chris Jones always motivated to play Brady.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, they always.
I think every player in the NFL is motivated. Brady give you, we playing Brady this week. You know what I'm saying? It's Brady week. Like, he gives you that motivation. I don't care if he's 45 or 54. He's still we playing Brady this week. You know what I'm saying? So I think they should all be motivated by their performance on Sunday. It was a disappointing loss. They shouldn't have lost. They did lose. I think Sky Moore should be coming to the field more focused with his performance from last week. And then, so I think if we play our best game, I think we can beat Tampa Bay, period. Because I don't think they have the horses to keep up with us. It's similar to the Arizona game. They banged up. They don't have the horses. They got the defense to keep it close, though. I will give them that. They do got a good defense. But Patrick Mahomes isn't Jameis Winston, and he's not going to give you 3 straight interceptions, pick sixes, or whatever he did when they played the Saints. Like, it's a different beat. What
horses do we got, though, country?
We got better than Russell Gage and Scotty Miller.
I'll say this, man. Like, dating back to when we did beat them in the regular season a few years back, the Buccaneers, they did a good job adjusting to us in the second half, and then it kind of carried over to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I think they're gonna come with that same look they gave us in that Super Bowl, man.
Or did we shoot off to a fast start and then let off the gas and they got back in the game?
I mean, I can't fully say that, to be honest, because like football 60 minutes, bro. Like any of these teams can come back and make it interesting at some point. That's how I look at it.
That's Super Bowl. I'm still mad about that Super Bowl game, bro. And I think that's been a topic this week too. If I'm a player, I definitely remember that day and that performance, and I don't want to ever repeat that again. And here's the team, so I get my get back this week.
Well, you got to remember, it's only a thing about 6 players left on this team that played in the Super Bowl, so it's not like it's.
Well, them 6 players, I'll circle this on the calendar. We got Tom
yeah.
Brady in Tampa Bay this week. Remember that Super Bowl game we lost? Here we go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but like, I know Ty Bowles. I don't think he's been known to be like a guy that loves the blitz, but in this matchup, in this situation, I think he's gonna, play more too high. He's gonna be a little more selective with his blitzes, like he's been doing.
Hold on. Let me ask you this: why would you play too high when you're not worried about them players beating you deep? Because McColl's not. He's not exactly going to be 100%. MVS is. He may not be playing, and he hasn't shown that he can get separation or beat anyone down the field yet. So, I mean, if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm not doing too high. I'm coming after Mahomes and make him, get him. Because one, again, if you look at last week's game. Why would you not blitz him? You know what I'm saying? I mean, get pressure on the O-line and test Orlando Brown. See if he's gonna fall back on his behind a few times throughout the game and get a chance to get after Patrick. So I'm not doing that if I'm Todd Bowles.
But last week, do you think the Colts defensive line was getting to Patrick a little more often than just them?
I mean, he was only sacked. He was only sacked once. But I'm saying, but the fact is, you was getting pressure on him. I mean, how many times did we see Orlando Brown fall to the ground? Now, their defensive line is not as good as Tampa Bay. So if that's what that D line was doing to the Chiefs and Orlando Brown, same could be done. Again, that's if they don't correct those issues. I think they do, but I'm also not taking nothing away because they are a number 1 defense for a reason.
And Mahomes is only averaging 7 yards a pass. It's low.
Yeah.
Well, be patient. Take what they're giving you.
They don't have a choice.
You don't have to go deep all game.
We can't go deep.
But they have been going deep for real.
Okay, we'll take Clyde in the flats. Like he was wide open in the flats versus the Colts on multiple occasions. Take what they're giving you. And then, bro, let's go back to the Super Bowl. Even as bad as they played, if people could catch, that game is a lot closer than the score indicates, right?
Man, they got their ass whooped, man. I don't want to talk about that Super Bowl, man. They got their ass whooped.
I mean, but we playing them again. You kind of have to talk about it. Come on now.
Like you said, it's only 6 players on that team. This is a different team. This is a different Bucks team, though. It's not the same Bucks team.
Yeah, they okay. All right.
Well, Ship, I'm gonna ask you this real quick, Ship, because Country mentioned something about taking what the defense gives you. Now, with Patrick Mahomes last week, I'm not saying the game was all his fault. He didn't come out to perform in the second half. I mean, some of it was receivers dropping passes, but some instances, I feel like he's having a hard time being strong in the pocket still. Do you still feel the same way? Because he kind of had them lows last year during the season.
If he's not strong in the pocket, that's because he's not having enough time in the pocket. Now, I do think that there are times he holds the ball too long. Because to be honest, there were times in the game I'm like, man, the lane is wide open to go run, and I'm like, run, But then I remember that different game. I was in the press box a different game where he got hurt. That was on the 4th and 1 or whatever. But but he's also mindful that look, he wants to run more often. Hey, I'm not gonna stop the man from doing that. But yeah, I think it's more so the pressure that gets to him where it kind of knocks him off or puts a little added pressure to where he's trying to rush throws. Now, granted, no defense is gonna give you all day to sit in the pocket, but again, to me, if your left tackle who didn't sign a long-term deal and is betting on himself, if he ends up on his ass every time you snap the ball, that's a problem.
Yeah, but I also feel like there are times where I just feel like all you gotta do is just slide to the left and slide to the right and just or step them in the pocket, buy yourself a little more time to make those plays. Because I feel like sometimes he's not getting the chance for the receivers' routes to develop. I mean that's how I look at it on certain plays.
No, I don't disagree.
Let's see here. Carl said, so do you take one game with the blitz working against Patrick versus the many games blitz had torched the blitz?
Well, again, the only problem is you got to look at the personnel. You got to look at the teams that's running. What their personnel is. I mean, Tampa Bay they have the horses. I mean, we saw, granted, the first time they played Tampa, where Tyreek torched them for 200 yards in the first quarter. Well, they made adjustments to where he didn't do much after that first quarter, and then the adjustment they made in the second game in the Super Bowl against them. So, look, I mean, Todd Bowles is good as a good defense coordinator / head coach for a reason, and he's got the horses. And remember, he put a game plan together that gave everybody the blueprint on how to beat Kansas City after what he did in the Super Bowl. So again, I think that they can afford the blitz because again, it's not like you got Tyreek Hill on this team and McCall Harmon is not healthy, and so I mean they can take more chances on defense than probably other teams because I think they have the personnel and because the Chiefs they haven't shown. Yeah, granted, yeah, they did against Arizona, but Arizona wasn't exactly 100%. So
Yeah.
I think why do people take the context out of that Super Bowl? I don't get it. Like
what do
that's
you mean?
not an issue.
What do you mean? What's
Like
your
they had a depleted offensive line. He was running for his life the whole entire game. Like nobody puts it into that context.
no?
It's
Well,
just
no. A
Tampa
lot of
Bay beat
people.
our ass.
No,
Like, but
no.
there's a
A lot of
reason.
people. A lot of people do put it in that context, but you got to look. I was there. I was sitting. I was there. So it got to the point where, for me, Tyreek Hill, Daryl Williams, or Damian Williams, I think it was Daryl Williams, not catching the ball. When they, and hell, Travis Kelsey as well. I mean, there were two touchdowns that didn't get caught by the Chiefs, and there was an extended play that Kelsey dropped right there, third. I forgot third or somewhere. He catches it, first down, extends the play. Now, I'm not saying that would have led to a touchdown, but those two touchdowns do make a difference because of how the flow and how the game would have turned out. So, I mean, there is context to be made, but yes, and to me, I also think that the team should have came down the week of, versus coming down that Thursday, even though it was COVID and stuff. I still would have come down there and been down there for the whole week. To me, you staying behind, had a ripple effect because of what happened with Coach Reed's son, and then you got that on your mind the whole weekend. So to me, if Kansas City is down in Tampa Bay that Sunday, the week before the Super Bowl, and you do everything, a lot of stuff to me doesn't take. Now they might still lose. Offensive line still could have been an issue, but I think some of the other stuff that played a role in their loss with what was going on back in Kansas City kind of weighed in as well. But I think if you're there, that doesn't matter. And look, and I know Carl says Andy going out coach Todd. He couldn't do it in the Super Bowl against that defense. I don't care offensive line or not. They came to play that day.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they scored.
We
Okay,
had a
we got us a ball game.
we had a lot going on that week, man. That week was crazy. That Super Bowl week was crazy, man. And like even went back to the barber. I think you did mention that. You did mention that barber get COVID. Yeah, it was a crazy week.
Oh yeah.
So let's go ahead and get to the key players to watch, man. So Ship, like, who are some of your key
Tell 'em,
players to
man.
watch? Who do you expect to be a big factor in this game, offense and defense?
Offensively, I'm going to go with man. That's a tough one. Offensively, I'm gonna say Juju, man. I think we need to see more from Juju. I think Kevin, he's only on a 1 year deal, so for him, he needs to have some big performances, especially because you're putting the stuff on tape. I mean, it's easy to say Kelsey, but I think they'll focus more on Kelsey and make Patrick beat you with his wide receivers because you know, he's only got two touchdown passes to receivers so far within these three games. Defensively, I think this is going to be this is going to be a big game for Nick Bolton. I think, because he's got the green dot. He's a young player. Going. I think, yeah. So he did play against Brady in the Super Bowl as a rookie. So I think we'll get a chance to see what he does. But also for Justin Reed as well. I mean, this is why you replace him. Replace Tyron Reed or Tyrann Matthews with him. Let's see what that leadership can do on the back end as well. So I think, I know it's kind of cheeky because you asked me for one, but I think that those are the players that's going to be helpful and valuable in Sunday's game against the Bucs.
Yeah, those aren't bad picks at all. Who you got, Country?
I got everybody that was present and at that game that we lost in the Super Bowl. Everybody that was there and participated. So Pat, Travis, who else was there? Juan was there, right? Chris Jones was there. Everybody that participated in that Super Bowl that we lost, they need to have a big game on Sunday.
Simple to the
It's a get back game, man. Like everybody, because we lost to Indianapolis, everybody playing us like we suckers, man. It's get back week, bro. It's get back.
Yeah, but I mean, let's not just. I know you have Chiefs fans, stuff like that, but let's not forget Tampa Bay lost too at home. So don't think that they're not going to come out and be ready to play as well. So I think at the end of the day, I think we, the fans, the viewers, the media, I think we are the winners in this game because I do think it's going to be a really good game, and I think it's going to go down to the wire. I still think Kansas City figures out a way, and possibly pull it off. But this will be interesting.
Yeah, I just want us to have the ball last.
I know, right? I know, right?
Boogie, what you got, man?
Offense, I'm gonna go with Orlando Brown. Like Darren was saying, man, he had a bad week last week. He gonna really get tested this week, man.
Yep.
We need him to be on his P's and Q's. If he have a bad game, it's gonna be tough for us to win. So I got him on offense. Defense. We got Evans coming back, so that's gonna be Snead and Watson. We'll see what they do. I think that's gonna be a good matchup. Snead we've been blitzing him a lot more. We're gonna have to do some blitzes on Brady. We're gonna have to get creative. So I'm gonna go with Snead on defense.
That's solid. All right, so for me, man, offensively. I feel like Jared McKinnon's going to have to be a factor in this game, man, because whether it's him catching the ball at the backfield or whether he's going to get some runs down the edges, because I already know you're not going to be able to run the ball at the middle against Tampa's front. Villa, he's a dog. He controls that front pretty well. So you got to get on the edge and, get some decent runs so it can set up like some play action and whatnot. So I'm going to go with Jared McKinnon. Defensively, man, shoot, that's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna go. I need something for Frank Clark, man. I need something for Frank Clark because we gotta touch Brady somehow. Because I already know they're gonna pay attention to Chris Jones in that middle. So hopefully, Chris Jones can be effective enough to open things up for Frank Clark on the outside. So I got Frank. We gotta touch Brady. We gotta touch him.
Now let's ask the real question, Chuck. How many laptops gonna get broke this week? How many Microsoft Surface gonna get broke this week? I got 2.
Nah, he ain't gonna break none this week.
I'd love to see it.
You're gonna be mad because ain't nobody gonna be talking to him. Chris Jones not gonna talk for the rest of the year after that. Pitiful referee.
The biggest question, though, going in and coming out of the game is who's going to be the best dressed person. Will it be myself? Will it be Patrick? Or will it be Tom Brady? All I know is I'm looking at my suit over here.
Yeah, Kayla just mentioned it.
No. Harrison Butker got all of y'all beat.
Nah. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Butker do be clean. I be looking like
he kill y'all every week. Y'all. Patrick just stepped his suit game up. But Harrison Butker, man, he got that GQ look. He walking in there with his values and his beliefs and killing y'all every week with his suits.
He ain't killing me, but he do be clean. I give him that.
Get well soon, Tua. Harrison,
Tua
get
too.
well soon, brother.
But it's funny. It's
We
funny.
need
We talk about dressing. Me and Justin were talking in the locker room today. He was like, "Man, he's like, man, you got enough suits to go through?" I said, "Man, bro, I get it. I wear a new suit every week. You know, what I mean? Every week of the season. I'm like, I've been doing it for the last 2-3 years. I'm like, man, I got so many suits in my closet, it breaks out." So he was like, oh man, he said, man, I'm, you know. And so he was telling me he's got a deal back in Houston where he gets his guy business. But he said now that he's here in Kansas City, he doesn't really feel like he has to get new suits. He can just wear some of the suits that he did in Houston here because nobody's seen him. I'm like, well, I don't have that luxury. I said I had to come up with something new every week. I said so. He said I'm gonna be looking for you. I said I ain't gonna be hard to find. I said so either the press room or the locker room. I said you gonna see me. So he said, so yeah. So we had a nice little
shout out to Harold Penners hooking my boy up with them suits. Shout out to Harold Penners and all the homies at Harold Penners, man. In fact,
Hold on.
Is that where you shop? Is that where you shop, country?
I've been to Harold Penners since they left.
Since Easter, huh? Yeah,
since
since Easter. You ain't been there since Easter. Nah, I ain't gonna let you be disrespectful. It's ties, brother.
Right.
Ties, clothiers, and tailored suits. Penners might still be taking care of you on Easter, but yeah.
I wear raw. I wear polo. I don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Harold Penners be hook you. Hey, Harold Penners hook you up with them suits and them gold plated chains. We know what they do.
Yeah, shout out to Ty's Clothes, man.
I wear gold plated chains.
Yeah.
So before we go ahead and wrap things up, man, get a word in for our sponsors, man. Homage, man. Homage got a buy one, get one 30% off. Sale going on site wide. Also, if you spend $100, you get a $10 blanket. So we got your NBA, you got NFL, you got pop culture, you name it. Pay homage, go and copy some gear, Chiefs, whatever you name it. So Darren, before we go, man, I just want to say this about the little battle you and Patrick got going on the Sioux game. Patrick is up by one. He up by 1 week on you.
No, he's not. No, it's 1-1.
More.
No, it's 1-1. Even he admitted it's 1-1. We don't do the home games. We just do the road games.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Because at home he dresses down because he's just coming from his house or whatever. So
yeah, I counted the preseason game on accident. So yeah, all right. So yeah, 1-1.
I don't even think he dressed up for preseason. I don't remember.
Oh, I thought he did.
Nah, because the preseason. I don't remember because preseason I had him then because even Clark Hunt was like, damn, that was a badass. I mean, even Clark Hunt. So trust me, Clark Hunt telling me, he complimented the suit like, damn. I mean, it's funny. Mark Donovan, we were in the press box. He was like, that's a badass suit. He said, it's giving me Denver vibes, but he said, I get it, but this ain't Denver. We playing again, so But trust me. And then after the game, Patrick looked at me. He was like, he nodded his head. He said, yeah, "You got me this week." And look at Patrick. Look, Patrick's clean every week, obviously. But I knew going into that game, the pumpkin stuff with off with the blue was gonna get him. Even his dad was like clean. But I'll show y'all what I'm wearing when we're not on the air, just to give y'all a little peek, because it's gonna be killing.
That's an interesting battle. That's gonna be an interesting battle for sure.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, and we joke because people think, look, I know online he's gonna win, by quote unquote votes because he's QB 15. We know that, but it's just a little friendly thing. But but people know, like even on Facebook, it was like, nah, Dan, you got him this week. So I mean, this is Sunday night. I could have worn this suit over the last couple of weeks, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till Sunday night football. I'm gonna break it out. Of course, it's a brand new suit, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And one last thing, man. So if at any point in the game when Chris Jones and Tom Brady talk trash to each other, they better not throw a flag on Chris Jones, man. Like, I'm sorry.
Better be double flag.
Please, man.
It better be double flag.
Nah, right. I don't think Chris says anything, man. Seriously, it ain't worth it, man, because you just don't know. I mean, then you don't even really want to put yourself in a situation. I think he's going to be kind of subconsciously thinking about it. Thing is, man, look, you let your play do the talking. You ain't got to talk. So just let your play do the talking. You sack them 2 or 3 times, then you ain't got to say nothing. To me, let the final score be your, be your trash talk.
Yeah, well said.
Scoreboard. We'll see y'all Sunday, man. After the game, after this win, I'm pushing my cards to the table. We winning Sunday.
Yeah, I've got the
Probably
Chiefs
just
winning
jinxed
28-24. So
Yeah, I got the Chiefs winning, of course. Bounce back spot. It's perfect bounce back spot for sure. So the Ship, thank you for hopping on the show tonight, man. We appreciate you, man.
anytime. Thank you for having me.
Safe travels there. Everything.
Before we go, I'm sorry. Shout out to Kylie and
I was about to do that.
You're doing her thing this week. We proud. We love you. Keep doing your thing, and we support you to the fullest, 1,000%. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
Nah, for sure, man. Yeah, congratulations to Kylie. She got a wedding coming up this weekend. About to get hits. So yeah, shout out to her. She'll be back. She'll be back in a few more episodes and whatnot. But yeah, shout out to Kylie. We appreciate her a bunch. So
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Kylie. Hey, but hold on, y'all.
Okay.
I hate to be that guy. I got
Go
the
ahead.
Bucks. I got the Bucks winning this week, 24-21, man.
Yeah, we definitely winning now.
I got the Bucks.
Definitely winning now.
I hope I'm wrong.
That's right there. That's Adam.
I love your honesty, though.
Hey, listen. We got criticized on the show before tomorrow, man. Y'all don't ever pick against the Chiefs. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't never think they're gonna lose till they lose.
Right.
I've been pretty spot on though, so
right. So, all right, people, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share on your social media platforms. Until the next episode, let's go Chiefs. We out of here.
pay homage.